Hey everyone, this is Alex with the Career Studio. I'm here with my other peer career advisors, and we're going to help you learn everything you need to know today about building a resume. Some topics that are going to be covered today: formatting and styles, resume must-haves, how to make your resume stand out when applying to jobs or internships, how to prepare a resume to navigate the applicant tracking systems, and creating master resumes and multiple resumes. So we're going to have Jasmine start us out with some resume must-haves.
There is no one special magic or specific way to format a resume. Formatting a resume varies between every person based off of who they are, what experiences they've had, and what job they're planning on applying to with that resume. The most important thing to remember is that a resume is about you and to reflect who you are in a way that is professional. Despite all of that, there are some basic must-haves that you should have on a resume. One of those things being the header. Usually that comes at the top, or pretty much is just a quick explanation of who you are, basically. It starts off with your name, your contact information, which is usually your email or phone number, and it can also have some other optional contact information, like your address or any links to a professional profile, website, or portfolio. But the most important contact info to have on your resume is your email and phone number. Also, next after the header would be the summary or objective. This is a completely optional section. You really only need it if you feel like something is lacking from your resume, or the job that you're applying to ask or request for one. And if you are having a summary or objective, should be about a paragraph. Shouldn't make up the most of your resume. It's just going to be a quick explanation in more detail about who you are, and possibly your goals. There are many different ways to write a summary or objective, but it just goes into a little bit more detail about who you are personally, that expands on the experiences you're including in your resume. Next, after the header, is your education, which would be your college or high school. You only need to have high school on there if you are in your first year of college or before. After that, you can take the attended high school off of your resume. Also included in this section would be your major or any minors, your GPA, which also should be written, should include what your GPA is out of. So such as you have a 3.4 out of a 4.0 scale, and that depends, of course, on what scale your school uses. You can also put any notable awards or scholarships under this section. The next section is the experiences. This is going to be the most important part of your resume. This includes any type of job or work that you've done in the past or currently, such as paid jobs, internships, volunteer work. And then it can be broken up into sections as well. Those sections can be based off of the type of experience that they are, such as if you have multiple internships and then you list all of your curriculars, extracurriculars, or it can be based off the type of job or the type of work that you did, such as if you have a lot of marketing experience, but then you also have a lot of business experience, you can also break up the sections in that way as well. It's also important to remember to list all of your experiences in reverse chronological order, starting with the newest or most recent position and then working backwards. And also to make sure you keep in mind to put the most relevant sections or experiences on your resume, and that will also be in reverse order. So start with the most relevant things that are relevant to the job you're applying to, and then work backwards. The last section is also an optional section. This is the skills section. This is kind of another section if you feel like maybe something is missing that you want to talk about or highlight on that isn't necessarily a specific experience. So under this section would be learn skills, such as if you are fluent in a language that's not English, or if you are proficient in some type of program such as Microsoft, Adobe, or any like design programs, anything that like that you are proficient in, that would also be good to put under this section. And also any certifications that you might have, such as if you are CPR certified, that would also be something that you could put under this skill section, because it doesn't need too much explanation, unlike your experiences do. So this could just be added to the end in a different section. As for resume styling, there are many ways to style a resume. Starting with the font, though, you want to make sure that you pick an easy to read font. Make sure it's nothing too fancy or difficult to read, nothing cursive. You want to make sure that it's a print, so it's easier for employers to read. You also want to make sure you only pick one font and stick with that font. You don't want to be mixing a bunch of fonts together. It's better to just stick with one and keep it consistent throughout the resume. And also for that size, keeping it in between 11 and 13, depending on how much information you have on the resume. That is around a good size for the font size. As far as color, if you want, color is something you can add to the resume. If you feel like, just keeping it in the black text on a white page isn't enough, you want to add a little bit more personality to it, you can add a little bit of color. Obviously not the font you don't want to change, any of your words you don't want to change, but you can change the color of other things, such as the bullet points. If you have bullet points for all of your sections of information, you could change the color of those. You could add borders either to the header or to the resume, and you could change the style or the color of those. Or you can add a colored background to anything that you might want to highlight, such as the header or your contact information. You can add a colored background to that to make it highlighted and stand out a little bit more if you feel that better reflects you. And like I said before, some other details, you can add borders to the resume or to the header. There are many different styles, especially Microsoft Word, that you could use just to add a little touch, add a little something else to kind of break up your resume and add some of your own little flair to it. But along with all of this, you want to make sure it is still professional. Along with, whatever you're adding, but also the words that you're using. You want to make sure it's all professional, but also still in your own voice. You don't want it to sound robotic or have someone else write it so it doesn't sound like you. Your words say a lot about who you are as well. So to keep it personal and to keep it you would be to make sure you're staying professional, but also writing in your own words.
Hello, everyone. I will be offering some resume tips. Sorry, my name is Bridget, and I will be offering some resume tips. All right, for resume must-haves, what you must put on your resume. The first one I know is pretty common sense, and it is pretty hard to forget, but it's super crucial. So I figured why not include putting your contact information. When your resume stands out to an employer, it would absolutely hurt to have forgotten something so crucial as to give the proper or correct contact information so that they can reach you and set up an interview or anything else with you. And super important is including keywords from the job posting that you have found. Finding keywords for the job responsibilities and what the employers are looking for specifically in their employees, what they love in their colleagues, and what they value in the work that they're doing and the people they are doing with. It's crucial to include those keywords when describing your experiences, describing your skills, so that you're showing what you have to offer is already something that they value. And hopefully you can offer something even more and beyond what they expect. And include in those descriptions of your experiences and your skills, include those strong action verbs and even include some adjectives. Really good action verbs can go beyond just describing the bare surface level of your responsibilities that you've had and what you have been trusted with to do in your jobs and the tasks that you have done. It shows there can even be words that can encapsulate an entire like 2 or 3 words of a sentence into one. So you never know what you can find with exploring good verbs with that. And then we've all heard the saying that our resumes can tell a story or part of a story about us. So part of that story that you're telling is you're flaunting yourself and you're promoting yourself. You are showing them that you have achieved really great things that this employer also values. And that goes into listing out your certifications and credentials. Absolutely do not forget, like if you are a teacher, putting all your teaching certificates and what credits you to being a teacher. Same with like any medicine degree and like medical requirements, going into law. All of these things require some training into certifications within your schooling or alongside your schooling. And then you can also add, like Butler University has the Morton Finney Scholarship is a good example of this, where it's a scholarship, but you have many tasks and responsibilities to maintain that. And it's very prestigious. You get to show off that you've been trusted to represent what Morton Finney stands for, and you get to be an influence on your university. So that's a certification and a credential that you get to show off and show that you've been trusted with being a good positive influence, learning as you're going, and doing these tasks along with your schooling and your classes. And you've been rewarded for that. As well, it goes along with this, accomplishments and achievements. Don't forget to put all of that while you're explaining your experiences. While you can have a line to summarize your experiences, it's important underneath to highlight these significant actions you've taken within your experiences, the responsibilities you had, and the results of the actions you took, especially if you offered something to the job that improved any kind of aspect of it, improved productivity, anything like that. And with that, you can include metrics. So instead of just saying you increased productivity say you were working in retail and you offered a suggestion for bringing in inventory and offering to mark it down on your inventory like checklist in a different way to speed up the process. You can include a metric with that saying you saved your colleagues or yourself 10 minutes, or it increased or decreased the time taken by like 10%, or any metric that you can accurately provide. And that also offers the so what. As this employer is going to be looking at your resume, they're going to see your responsibilities, your experiences, and the actions you've taken within all of those, but they want to know, so what? Why do I care that this is what you offer? You can show these positive results like that metric that you showed with the increase or the decrease in time taken to bring in inventory. And must do's when you are developing your resume. Let me move me aside so we can see everything. Going back to what I mentioned before with the action verbs, I mentioned that you get to flaunt yourself and you get to promote yourself. So this is you advocating for yourself. You know that you are qualified for this job and you are eager to also continue learning and become even more qualified for anything else in your future. So you're eager to learn from this job as much as you are qualified for it. Take that marketing viewpoint, market yourself, promote yourself, and be confident that your experiences matter. And with that, use your resources. Through your experiences, you have created connections and you've developed communities around you, and you have communities already developed around you, like the CaPS office. We are here for you. There are career advisors and there are peer career advisors who can offer any revision, editing, or going from the very start offering, we have a blank sheet of paper, how are we going to start your resume? Let's take it a step at a time. What can we do? And also research online. This can be super helpful for figuring out what specifically you need, whether you are going into psychology, medicine, business, education, going online and looking for examples and looking for articles. There's many people on LinkedIn who will share their experiences, going into Google and seeing blogs of people sharing their experiences with their own mistakes in their own resumes, what they've learned, what they feel are some strong points. And everyone is going to have different opinions, so you get to see what you resonate with most and what will make you feel most comfortable and confident putting on your own resume. Because it's representing you, it's sharing that part of the story that you get to flaunt yourself and promote yourself. And trust that your friends, family know you really well. The people who you have chosen to be vulnerable with within your friends and family, and the people who you tell everything to, they're the people who will know to recommend, oh, don't forget this experience. Don't forget that one time when you did this big task. They hear you and they want to offer you ways to continue to flaunt yourself and get you a job. Trust that they would love to be there for you to remind you of things you can put on your resume. And it's always easier to look at another person's work and offer edits. So know that the people around you will have that point of view of it's not going to affect them, how your resume looks. So they're going to go in with no fear, no doubt, and go in with getting excited to show you off. And that will offer a beautiful perspective. And then same goes for any past employers you've had, mentors you currently have or have had, and any professors you have. And chances are these people are within the career that you're interested in anyways, so they can offer what they've learned over the years applying for all that they've done, and all the experiences that they've had in jobs may be similar to what you're wanting. And these people are most likely the people who see you at work understand how you work, your work ethic, how you learn as well. And they can offer some advice on how you can promote that as well. And lastly, go beyond the process. Right now, everything is online and everything is virtual. Before COVID, everything was still online. Hopefully, when we become more safe, either through vaccine, however we get there, hopefully we are able to meet with people in person more. So going beyond the process can include showing up at the office and getting to know the receptionist, showing that you care about this person who is a crucial part of the operation of the office, and show that you care by showing up and saying, I'd prefer to bring in my resume in person and meet with maybe an HR representative and just say hi, like for 2 minutes. Just say, hi, this is my name, this is my resume. I wanted to show you that this is what I want. I want to get to know this environment as much as you want to get to know me, and show that I respect this process. And trust yourself and take risks. Just with all of that, going beyond the process of maybe showing up in person, maybe calling HR, emailing HR, not pestering, but showing that you are okay to put yourself out there. You feel confident that you're qualified, and it's showing that you're eager to learn about the company. You're eager to get a foot in and show this is something I'm excited about. And taking risks and trusting yourself can also be in how you format your resume as well, how you describe your responsibilities, maybe including something that you didn't know if you should include in your resume or not, but maybe you have this gut feeling that if you don't include it, you'll regret it. Trust that. And the final part of my section, the resume must do nots in everything. Don't get hung up on the quantity in your resume. While either having a lack of quantity or having good quantity, either one will both have pros and cons. When you don't have a whole lot of quantity, you can focus on quality more, focusing on describing and explaining what you did or what you do in your jobs, tasks, responsibilities, and taking the opportunity to use the space you've been given with this lack of quantity to show what you offer. Or when you have a lot of quantity, you can be more concise and you can be more honed in on your skills. And maybe that can offer, while there's a lack of quantity, you can offer more of a variety of what you're offering. Your lack of quantity can offer those keywords even more emphasis on your strengths. And do not repeat buzzwords that we all use in resumes. While they're not bad, you do not need to avoid them. It's pretty hard not to avoid them. It can be crucial to not repeat them. And that goes for any action verbs or adjectives in your resume in general. You want to show your variety. And like I said before, synonyms for words that you are thinking of can maybe encapsulate what you did, and more words of your sentences or lines more than the first word you thought of. It's very similar to what we've heard as students going through school, where what you first think of isn't always the best idea. It's not the full, complete idea. And what you think of first, like the first draft, the first story, the first answer, anything like that, that doesn't mean it's the one to go with. It's just a really great start. And it's your thought process getting going. It's that warm up and getting going. And then do not get lost in the titles, where it's important to list your experiences, the titles of your jobs, the titles of any volunteer service you've done, any study abroad you've done, clubs you're a part of. That's not the most significant part of you. The most significant part of you is what you did within those experiences. You've earned to do these experiences. and you've been trusted to have the responsibilities along with it, and maybe even more responsibilities that go beyond the title. You get to summarize the title and then show your actions and the results of your actions. Show how you've positively impacted companies, and therefore how you can continue to positively impact this company that you're eager to be a part of. And finally, don't finish it in one sitting. Just like I said earlier, with the first is not always the end all be all. Revise and edit. We hear this within our classes we heard it through English classes in high school. We heard it in our freshman year seminar, all of us at Butler University. We've heard it through any writing courses that we've had to take. Revise and edit, which is, to me, the most difficult part. And this is where you can trust the people around you. CaPS office, friends, family, mentors, employers, fellow colleagues. Maybe there's a colleague or someone you're doing an internship with who you've developed a really cool relationship with. So they also have experience, possibly, in what you're wanting to do. And they can offer some insight on their own mistakes that they've made and what they've learned. And they probably have different mentors than you have. And they've probably heard a lot of things from them, their professors. They have different friends and family, all of that good stuff. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback. It's super vulnerable to trust someone to look at your resume and to trust that it's a judgment-free zone. But the reward is huge, because from that you learn how to, moving forward, produce your resume for yourself, possibly more efficiently, possibly with more confidence, and it can even boost your confidence when you have someone cheering you on and supporting you through this. So thank you. That's all for my section.
How to make your resume stand out when applying for jobs and internships. So first, look at the job description, read through the job description, and because this tells you what the employer is looking for and to the qualities of the candidate, and also the requirements, responsibilities of the role. Also, while looking through the job descriptions, look for action verbs, or keywords throughout the descriptions, such as like developed skills to this, or has research or shown past experience. And also look for themes throughout the job descriptions. Look for what the organization values and what they're looking for in the ideal candidate that they strongly possess. And next, after looking through all the job description and looking at those keywords and action verbs and requirements, responsibilities for the role, update your bullet points to relate to the skills and experiences. So use your master resume and go through that resume and update it, make sure that is specifically tailored for that current role and have all the relevant information that the employer is looking for, and that ensures it highlights all your skills and experience that apply to this job, and so that the employer knows that you do have those experience, that you check those boxes for the previous roles. Additionally, move more relevant information to the top of your resume. So if there's a project or experience that directly applies to that role you're applying for or the internship, put that more towards the top of the experience section and move those sort of things, and move the less relevant things on lower to the bottom of the page, as it's not as important there, but you still want to highlight that. Next, some more things to look for. So tailor the specific headings to the specific field. So if you're like a teacher, have like teaching experience, also teaching experience first, and then maybe other work experiences that you have done throughout your time. And additionally, Don't do this unless you're like applying through. Do this unless you're applying through the applicant tracking system, which Grayson will talk about more in the later section. And this will just basically help in so it doesn't get automatically rejected, and also just shows that you put time and effort into the resume, into applying for that role, and shows your interest and desire for that role. Initially, verify the resume aligns with the culture of the organization. So look at the organization's mission statement, values, and even care work that the organization has done, and either add or those experiences that deeply align with the mission and the values, and maybe some nonprofit work or charity work that you have, or volunteer work that you have done in the past that shows that you're committed to the mission and values. And this just helps you to stand out from the rest of the applicants, as it shows that you do all the added work that they are looking for, but also you match what the organization is looking for within within their like mission and values, and that you'd be a good fit within the organization, and that they know that you care about what they care about and better in the community and or other organizations and so forth. And then lastly, review the updated resume and compare it to the job description, double check it, make sure that there's no, spelling or grammar mistakes, and ensure that you have everything that the employer is looking for in the resume that's required, and double check, ensure that you are saying what all you want to say about that role, and that if there's something that you forgot to say, just to add it or so forth. Just a final review of the resume before you submit the application. Next. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be talking about resumes for applicant tracking systems. So as you know, an applicant tracking system is a system that a lot of larger companies use when they are filtering through their resumes. So this takes a look at your resume, filters it, and kind of throws out any resumes that don't meet the qualifications they have in place. So in order to make sure your resume gets past these applicant tracking systems, there's specific things that you should have in your formatting. So some of those things are keywords that are specific to the job description or the job that you're applying for. By using specific words that are in the job description, the ATS will pick that up and move your resume through. You want to make sure that your resume is saved in the correct format, so it's either a document or PDF file, most of the times PDF, just so it can get through that system. Like I'm sure they've mentioned before, the consistent formatting throughout the resume is super important for getting through the ATS system, making sure you don't have any weird text boxes or anything like that that could make the text blank and kick you out. And then you also, anytime you apply to a company that has an ATS, it's really, really important to have a personal contact at that company. The ATS might be out of date, or it might just be filtering through everyone. And so having a personal contact is really important to making sure that your resume gets through, and that the people at the other end of the ATS know who you are. Let's see. Some more tips to just kind of beat the ATS. Again, focusing on personal connections is the most important thing. By having personal connections at the company, they know that you're going to be applying. They're going to look out for your resume. They're going to help push your resume through the ATS system. So personal connections are always the #1 priority when it comes to ATS. Another tip is to tailor your resume to fit the job that you want. As I mentioned, having keywords that fit the job description is really important, and this is going to help you beat that ATS. Using the long form of acronyms, so instead of having MBA, you would want to put the Masters of Business Administration, again, just a way to kind of beat through the ATS system. You don't want to use tables or columns or text boxes or anything like that, because this can hide the text when it goes through the ATS system, making your page look blank or a certain section look blank. And obviously you don't want that. That can kick you out of the ATS system. And then you want to use standard resume headings, so work experience, education, community service, things like that. Nothing super out there or unique that the ATS wouldn't recognize and would kick out of. And while keywords are super important, you don't want to stuff your resume with too many keywords. I've seen trends and videos about taking the entire job description, pasting it at the bottom of your resume, turning the text white so then they can't see it. That's not going to help you. That's not going to get you through. You want to place your keywords very sparingly and make sure that they really are relevant to the experiences that you've had. You obviously want to be truthful with everything that you're putting on your resume, and that's going to be the best method for helping you beat the ATS system. And that is the end of the PowerPoint. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and can really learn about different resumes.
So the last topic we're going to cover today is creating master resumes and multiple resumes. So what is a master resume? It's a collection of all of your relevant experience and skills to date. So this can be work experience, volunteer, leadership, extracurriculars, anything that you think might be valuable to you in the future should be on your master resume. So this doesn't have to be limited to one page. And so this is sort of the reason why you create the master resume, is to have all of your experience available to you so that when you're creating these custom resumes, you can easily translate it over to it. So this is a very useful way to keep track of all of your experiences over many years, right? Because you never know what experience is going to be useful to you in the future. And so it's a lot easier to have them all right in front of you. And the key to a master resume is that it's a fluid, changing process. So even if you don't feel like you're going to be pursuing other employment in the next few years or so, still keep track of what you're doing in your master resume, because when you're going to look back on that and when you might need a new custom resume in the future, it's going to be a lot harder to dig back through the years and get fine details about your experience without having this as a reference. And so always be on top of your master resume, always be updating it with new things. And it's also a great way to prepare for other application materials, because if you have all these details with you on your master resume, it can be a lot easier to jog your memory through those and create a great picture of yourself for any opportunity you're trying to pursue. So creating multiple resumes goes hand in hand with this master resume, because like I said, having all of that experience right in front of you can really help you narrow down and customize your resume a lot easier, because each opportunity that you pursue calls for a different resume, right? Each opportunity has a different job description, has different skills required of you. And so to paint the best picture of yourself specifically for the opportunity, you should be working your resume every time you pursue a new opportunity. And so, this doesn't have to mean you can entirely scrap your resume and start over. This can mean that you take a look at your master resume, right? You filter down what it takes and what you think you could fill on one page accurately and sufficiently. And so it's going to be a lot easier to translate that information, create your custom resume, and then begin working on those other application materials, right? It's going to save you a lot of time, and it's also going to allow you to create a more detailed picture of yourself, because it's all already there on your master resume. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching our virtual resume workshop. This was made by the Peer Career Advisors at Butler University Career and Professional Success. We have a space called the Career Studio where students and alumni can either walk in or make an appointment to answer any career-related questions you have. So if you'd like to reach out to us, you can schedule an appointment with us in Handshake, or you can visit our website at butler.edu/career for more resources. Thanks and have a great day.